Hey, Lowco sports fans, welcome to Lowco Pigskin Live for week 6. It's going to be a weird one. It's been a weird week. It's been a weird Friday night, and it's going to be a weird Lowco Pigskin Live. We can already tell because Max is having all kinds of problems getting on to join us, but Wes Kerr on his way back home from Hilton Head Christian Academy, where I haven't seen a final yet, but Pinewood Prep was up big on Hilton Head Christian. What was the score when you left? Wes,
45-13.
45-13.
45 to 13 in favor of Pinewood Prep. It was all Panthers. Hilton Head Christian Academy could not stop the run early on.
No.
My God, it was a beatdown early. And I'll tell you, Reed McCollum, he had to make some tough throws in tight windows. Pinewood Prep did a great job defending the pass, and it took the air out of Hilton Head Christian Academy. I thought they came to this game and looking confident. Certainly a tough one at the hands of a very good Hammond team, but I expected a bounce back team from just didn't happen. The offense just was not in sync, and give a lot of credit to Pinewood Prep. That's a really, really strong football team, and certainly a lot of questions left to answer because they'll have to go through them again if they want to go all the way in this he's at 3A. So Pinewood Prep in the driver's seat of this region. Yeah, I just thought this was eventually going to be deciding for the region championship, and Pinewood Prep certainly in the catbird seat now when you look at the region picture, getting the win and the head advantage over Hilton Head Christian Academy. When some miraculous comeback happens, it's a huge region win on the
No,
road for the Panthers.
it's a final, and it
It's
was
a
60 to 20. 60 to
goodness.
20, the final.
That
Yeah,
is
got on.
that is crazy, crazy.
Yeah, didn't quite see that coming. I picked Pinewood, but I didn't think it was going to be like that. So that one is final. We only had two other games actually go off tonight. We had two on Wednesday, and we had two that were rescheduled. So Wednesday night finals: Stratford over Colleton County, 41-14. And Jefferson Davis over Cross, 70-12. And then excuse, excuse me. There's usually three. Hilton Head and Bluffton postponed to the week of October 11th. Could be Thursday or Friday. We're told May River at Georgetown canceled. Whale Branch at Battery Creek postponed to 7 p.m. Monday. Christchurch, Hampton County canceled. Ridgeland, Hardyville canceled. I think that one may result in a forfeit, but I'm not positive. Pinewood Prep 60 to 20 over Hilton Head Christian. Augusta Eagles at JP2 canceled. You're sensing a theme here. Dillon Christian at Hilton Head Prep will be rescheduled to 4 p.m. Monday. So we'll have an afternoon delight Monday.
Yeah, double
Monday
header.
doubleheader. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dolphins doubleheader. Patrick Henry up 29-20 over Faith in the fourth. 5:54 left. 2:42 left at last report. Turnover on down. So Patrick Henry about to salt it away. Buford Academy 39-20 final over Colleton Prep. The tussle of the Thomases was called off. Sumter versus Hayward. And that's it. So just three games actually getting played tonight. And we're still waiting on a final from Faith Christian where it was quite a scrap. Apparently quite a muddy environment there tonight. And also, the Patrick Henry boys got into some ants.
Yeah,
Can you hear us?
I
there
think
was
so. Yeah. Can you hear me though?
Yes, we got
Oh,
you.
okay, fantastic. All right, sweet. My God, that was painful.
But yeah, Faith, I guess it was pretty muddy up there, and it was back and forth. Faith had the lead early in the third, but then the Pats were able to break ahead. What was that? Oh, I missed a score. Pats were able to break ahead on a Michael Tucker Mathis to Ryland Brunson touchdown pass. So they've traded places now. And then they're able to go up on a Jacob Corley pick, kept the ball in their hands when they had a 2-point lead. And then Michael Tucker with a big 20-yard touchdown run to go up 9, and now it looks like they'll put that one away. Beaufort Academy, Colleton came back and made it close late, got within 26-20 with 6:42 left, but then it was Nick Underwood time. He broke off a 32-yard or a long touchdown run. Don't know how long to make it 32-20. And then they got it back, and he scored again, I think. It was 39-20, and that's the final. And then, of course, 60-20 from Hilton Head Christian Academy. And as you mentioned, Wes, just no answer against that Pinewood run in the first half. Just could not stop it. And when they started trying to load the box and pin their ears back and try to do it, they burned them deep a couple of times. So, I think Hilton Head Christian defense got exposed a little bit by a really good offense. And Pinewood was just big and fast and strong, man. That's a really good football team. They're on a different level, I think, than HHCA right now.
No question about it. I think it's one of those situations where HHCA, as you said, you got exposed, and now it's kind of back to the drawing board for this team. You've seen the weaknesses is now unable to make some tackles when you really needed to, and you had a couple of chances to pull up some stops and get the other offense off the field, but just the tackling wasn't there consistently. And I'll tell you what, that number 1 guy, Singleton,
Ooh.
he is absolutely elusive out there, as you said, Max. Incredible quickness and just the agility and the cuts that he made to help maneuver defenders was really, I mean, elite level. So this Pinewood team has some skill, especially in the backfield, but their quarterback, Casey Wyndham, I remember talking about him for a
Yeah.
long time. He has been a staple of this Pinewood prep program and now starting to put it all together in his senior year. Watch out for the Panthers. This team is looking kind of dangerous in 3A Skiza. For what they show out here on the road against an always tough Hilton Head Christian team playing on their home field. So Hilton Head Christian has to find some answers if they get the opportunity to face them again. And we'll see. This team always finds a way to rise up late in the year and play their best when it really matters. So don't count this Eagles team out, but certainly they know how much work needs to be done now after seeing the performance out on the field tonight.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
It's the final.
Ta-da!
Yeah.
Yes, you were not happy with the alma mater tonight.
Yeah. Here, Wes mentioned, they need to find, the right path. And I think the question people are asking is what that path would be. The problem Christian Academy has is, while they may be one of the top teams right now from seeing, there are 2 teams that are definitely a level above them. And for me, that's Wilson Hall and Pinewood. There's a game coming up between Pinewood and Wilson Hall, and that could be the state championship matchup. From what I'm seeing, well, I know Christian Academy's good. They're not good enough to make it to the state championship. Now, they could improve on the year and maybe learn from their mistakes if they, potentially play Pinewood again, potentially in the playoffs. But that Pinewood prep team is just too strong and just too fast on both sides of the ball. And the thing that Christian County lacks right now is size. While they may have depth, they lack size, and that's a serious problem for them right now. They had the size last season. It's why they won a state championship. It's because they had size on that offensive line. That offensive line right now is lacking size. There are a couple players on that line that are just, I don't want to say too small, but they are too small to be playing on that offensive line, especially at this level of football inside Skiza. Look,
Yeah. There's a couple little dudes on that line that don't look like offensive linemen.
I mean, with the remaining schedule, Christian County will make the playoffs. But I think the problem they're going to have is when they get to the playoffs, who they end up playing. If they do end up playing Pinewood in potentially the semifinals, which would be more of a possibility, or even Wilson Hall. The problem you're going to have with those 2 teams is they are bigger, faster, and stronger than you are currently right now.
Yeah.
You know, I like what I see out of Hilton Christian County, but I also don't like certain things that they are currently having to deal with right now. And one of them is size. The other one I think is lack of talent. You know, outside of Reed McCollum, they have some players that are good, but they don't have. One thing they're missing, and I've noticed this the last couple of seasons, is they're missing a running back. I think if you had a running
I mean,
back to add to that pass
you
offense,
look
They
at what
haven't-
they did with Speedy
They
Robinson.
miss Speedy.
Yeah,
they do.
that
I think
guy
if you
was the rock of that
if you add a
team.
running back, if you add a running back to that pass offense with Reed at the helm, you have two threats in the backfield who can run the football, as well as threats in terms of throwing the football and, you know, the pass game. That pass game is dangerous. I mean, there were a couple plays tonight where Reed threw it downfield and the receivers were there to catch it. That's not a problem. The problem is their running game is not there. Reed is their running game.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Reed's just not enough, especially against a team like Pinewood or even Wilson Hall. I mean, we're talking about a Wilson Hall team who beat Lawrence Manning this season. That Lawrence Manning team absolutely destroyed JP2. And guess what? Wilson Hall destroyed Lawrence Manning. So, you know, those are, you know, them and Pinewood Prep are two teams currently on just a totally different level than Hilton Head Christian County right now. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I think next season, if they can find players who are good size and are able to hold that offensive line well, I think they're going to have a good team. But they need a better offensive line and a better running back, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I think you're right. Wes is probably dipping out and gold in the house, I imagine. I agree. They need to do something to establish the run a little bit more, because, I mean, once Pinewood knew that they couldn't really run it against them, they were pinning their ears back and just going after Reed, and he just had no time, you know. And so they were still able to hit a couple big ones where the hot Reed was there and he was able to launch it deep, but on a lot of those plays, he just had no time. He had to get rid of it in a heartbeat. So they got to figure some things out up front. You know, coaching staff was very upset with the physicality and tenacity, or lack thereof, on defense early on. They got it together a little bit and made a big stop. You know, stopped them, held them to a field goal a couple of times, and then you know, they got within a touchdown and then had them stopped on fourth down. Pinewood went for it late in the first half on fourth down in their own territory, and it looked like Hilton Christian got a stop, and it was like going to be a huge momentum swing, and they're going to have a chance with a short field to tie it up before halftime. But there was a face mask penalty on the play, gave Pinewood a first down. Next play, to the house, Singleton. That was that. So that kind of opened the floodgates then, and they just couldn't sustain anything. But I think that's remarkable. Pinewood was just the better team. They were gonna pull away this one eventually. And they made good adjustments too. They saw Hilton Head Christian making adjustments, getting more aggressive, coming up to the line of scrimmage, trying to stuff the run, and they popped them over the top a couple times. So, Virginia Tech, Miami. We got a Donnybrook, and we got Lowco ties in this one. Xavier Chapman playing left tackle for Va-Tech, and they're up on Miami, about to go to the fourth quarter. Tucker Tivapod not punting tonight for Miami, but I think he's been on the travel roster. I don't know if he still is as like an emergency kicker punter guy, but he has been traveling with them. So, and it's home game, so I would guess he's probably suited up. So that's pretty cool. Lowco guys on both sides on Friday night ACC game.
I will say this: one of the bright lights for Christian County is their kicker this year, Ian Kelly. Oh my God, that kid's got a boot, man. I mean, in there, it is so much fun to watch him, and I'm waiting for a game where I can see him kick a really long field goal and see what he can do with it in a game. I'm waiting for Paduzzi to allow that one to happen, because I think when it does, fans will go crazy when he kicks one right down the uprights from 45, 50 yards out, because he can definitely do it.
I thought he was going to let him try a long one tonight for a second. They acted like...
I think he kicked a 35, 40-yarder to send it in the halftime, but at that point, unfortunately, they were up 31-13 at half, and so it's just, yeah. I mean, you said it. Pinewood's just a better team. Christian Academy, I knew going into the season they were going to struggle. I knew Reed at quarterback was a great move for them, but the problem they're having right now is, again, they lack size. They got depth, but they lack size and they lack speed and running back position. So I think, if you could, because I don't think Chris Academy is going to the state championship this year. I mean, you never know. We didn't think that last year. I mean, I didn't think that last year, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, Dylan Clark and company came out of nowhere. The defense played great, but at this point in the season, you would have hoped Christian County would have been able to get it moving along. This team, talent-wise, is just not there, especially when you have two teams that you battled with last year that you were better than them as a team, but also, you struggled early in the season. You get back on track, but I think this season's a different story. I think they'll get on track, but I think when playoffs come around, they're going to play some teams that are better than they are, and that's the unfortunate thing.
I just feel like they haven't had that go-to guy. Like you look at JB Peduzzi back in the day. I mentioned the running backs they had. Even Jackson Lanier kind of was that more of a power back when he was playing towards the end of his career. And then, of course, he had in 21 when they won that state championship victory season. But it's just that I feel like they need the pieces, and credit to Prep for just relying on senior talent and getting better around both sides of the ball. That's a really talented team.
Yeah,
man, they were fired. They were fired up.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
It was.
Last season, Christian Academy was a more experienced team compared to Pinewood Prep. This season, it's kind of the opposite. You have a younger Hillman Christian Academy team and a very much so more experienced senior-led Pinewood Prep team, which is huge for them. And I do believe that I'm going to pay close attention to that Wilson Hall Pinewood Prep game, because that could be the battle for state championship later on in the season.
Both teams were kind of on the coming up a year ago, and Hilton Head Christian Academy has been the powerhouse, at least 3A or 2A when they were in that classification back in the day. But I mean, you just look at the players that you lost in terms of graduation, but just you're right now you're trying to get the most out of a good group of guys, but just who's going to be those guys to step up? I mean, Joseph Howe, he's growing as a young sophomore receiver. He has been that go-to target, but certainly
and Arnholt's a good deep target too. But it's just like all those guys are lethal against lesser competition, but then when you see them against Hammond or Pinewood or Porter-Gaud, then they look kind of ordinary,
Number 21, Pinewood, he was a beast in that ball game. I mean, there was very little room for McCollum to throw those passes, and he had to be perfect. And for a bunch of different big plays and big moments early, he just wasn't able to feed the balls where they were supposed to be. And Pinewood was able to get some pressure on McCollum, bring some well-timed blitzes, and get to the quarterback and just make him uncomfortable. And then, as I mentioned, the pass defense did their job very well. And so, I mean, I was just impressed by the way their defense showed out today. And Hilton Head Christian Academy, I will say Reed McCollum, he's an excellent quarterback, and he is a rising star on that team. And I think the future of what McCollum could do, this Hilton, he's just a junior, so he still has another year. But, I mean, you can't be more – I mean, you can't expect much more from what he's doing at this point. He's been fantastic. It's just that it goes back to you need more up front, and you just need a little bit more physicality, a little more grit, like we've seen from the Hilton Head Christian County teams in the past. And I just don't think this year they have that level of skill up front to deliver that difference. And then when you don't have that, you got to have some guys that compensate skill positions, and you have some reliable players. You just don't have that game breaker this year. What we've seen in the past with this team compared to what we saw with on the other end with a couple on display tonight for Pinewood Prep. So it's just that extra level of talent seemingly every year it goes towards Hilton Head Christian Academy. This time it was all Panthers.
All Panthers. Definitely was. I was looking for the text, but
Another
we
note
did
about
have.
I
Yeah, go
did
ahead.
hear in the second half, one of the Hilton Christian Academy players needing medical attention over the
Oh, geez.
loudspeaker. I think it was someone could back me up. I think it may have been Jackson Richardson, the
Oh,
sophomore
geez.
That's
corner.
not good.
Yeah, hopefully someone else will confirm that. But that's what I was hearing over the loudspeaker. So definitely keep you updated on that situation going forward. But
Yeah, that's
yeah,
not good.
just tough night overall. Hilton Head Christian Academy, and a very well coached team. I'm sure that Peduzzi and company are going to have some. That's when you have some sleepless nights as a coach. when
Yeah,
you
it's gonna be a long
game
week. It's
plan
gonna
and
be a long
just
week
it just
for them.
goes off the rails for you.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're just outplayed by a more talented team, and it's exactly what we saw there. Although I thought Rowan Colella was fantastic. He's just a freshman, or actually he's a junior, but
Yeah.
he looked the part at linebacker of someone who plays that. I'm gonna say that junkyard dog mentality that was used to be
Hmm.
by Peduzzi and company. Man, that guy was a dude tonight. And when Richardson was out there, he made some big plays defensively. So there were a few who were able to carry their own weight. Finn June made some nice stops. Yeah, that's the
Mad Matt Smith.
you know.
He was as angry as I've ever seen him tonight, man. He
Yeah,
was-
I agree.
Just
He
was the
was
run defense did not show
angry,
up,
man.
but we give credit.
There's
right?
Jackson Richardson with a nice
Yeah.
double leg takedown. Need to get him on the wrestling mat. Man, that was a good
yeah.
double.
That's what I needed to see out of that team tonight, and that was probably the only play I saw where they showed some.
This was the one series where they bowed up. They held them to a field goal.
I'll
and
tell you
then
what the turning point was.
that
The
face
fourth down face
Yep.
mask, which would have looked like it was going to get the defense off field next play, 66 yards to the house. I mean,
Two really
that's-
good kickers in this game.
The
It was
punter
quite a
for the
display.
Christian Academy also made a really nice play early, but yeah, I mean, just
Well,
that
that's
was
Kelly.
the big-
That's Ian Kelly as well, right? I think he
Kelly's
punts also.
fantastic. Yeah,
Yeah.
he made a 39
Here's
yarder,
Reed.
30 today.
It
So
was also I wasn't there in time to see it, but it was also Hall of Fame night,
that's
which was
correct.
cool.
Well,
Had some
unfortunately, the several of those Hall of Fame inductees could not make it. I mean, it's hard to make it regardless, but I think
Sure.
the storm certainly affected things as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I know they had the
guys were extremely, both professional, golfers.
golfers.
So,
Yeah.
you never know if they're going to be.
Well,
able
and
to
Tommy Lewis coach is a football. Was Tommy there? Because
He was
believe
there.
he
did he
was.
not? Oh, really? He didn't have a game tonight.
I guess not.
So
he was there.
all right. I was trying to see him and I wasn't able to. But
Legendary coach.
great. Yeah, I had a great relationship with Tommy back in the
I
day.
assume he was there because all the games in Atlanta were canceled because they got pretty much.
Oh, true.
Uniform,
True.
That's where he played.
Oh, that's
That's where he
true.
goes now at Landmark Christian. So,
Correct. Yeah.
yeah. I think I'm going to say this. I don't see Chris County making it past the semifinals in the playoffs this year, but they've surprised me before. They did last season.
Yep.
They're going to be okay, but there are definitely some things they're going to need to fix before the rest of the season continues.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a feeling with that coaching staff, as livid as they were tonight, it's going to be a long week for those Eagles in terms of practice.
Oh, yeah.
I never bet
I
against
can guarantee you that.
that defensive coaching, but it's going to take a lot.
I have never seen Matt Smith yell so loud in all the years that I have known him. I had him as a head coach of baseball. I had him as a teacher. I had him as everything. I have never seen him that angry and yelling as loud as he has. I have never seen Matt Smith yell that loud in my lifetime.
I've rarely seen him just that animated, period. Like he's usually just so even keeled all the time. Like he was fired up. So yeah, they're gonna get after him.
Yeah,
they're gonna get after him.
The last few seasons that he's coached Christian Academy, he hasn't had to coach much because those players knew what they were doing. This is a much more less experienced team, so more coaching is kind of needed with them. And I think that's why we're kind of seeing
I mean, you go up
bit
against
more
the
of an
season
animated Matt
group
Smith this year.
in Pinewood Prep, a team that Nucleus has been together. I mentioned Asa Wyndham and some of those other guys who are really starting to click now on this team. Dangerous group to lead this Panther. I was just blown away by the skill of that run game, and certainly Hilton and Chris County wishes they could have done a bit better of a job just winning at the line of scrimmage and just wrapping up tackles. But it looked like there were a couple of plays that should have been dead moments ago, but somehow Singleton, that back, was able to elude himself away from trouble and just keep picking up chunks of yards. And then he really put the game to bed on that 66-yard house call. But man, Pinewood Prep looking, as you mentioned, they're right there with Wilson. Oh, that's going to be one heck of a game, and we could definitely see that to end things.
Oh, really?
Charles.
Yes, it is.
But
October the 4th.
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah, it's next week.
Very good.
Christian season remaining schedule is pretty much
week
where they can kind of coast through. They had their two toughest games these past 2 weeks. That's a good thing for them, I think, because it helps them through games being able to improve against teams that they know they usually have a pretty good chance of beating. But I think these two games showed me that, Hammond, you were never going to beat Hammond. Sorry, but that's just what it is. You were never going to beat Hammond. Pinewood Prep, I was hoping for a closer game, but when I saw that team's first drive, I knew immediately. I was like, it could be a very long night for Christian Academy, and it most certainly was. Final score of 60-20. I mean, there's only been a couple times where I've seen a team score 60+ points at Helmut Christian Academy, and it's been a very long time since we've seen that. So
we only have 3 games
and
left.
They're both 2 this season. That's crazy.
Yeah. They just have First Baptist and then JP2 and Prep, and that's it.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah,
crazy. Well, hey, our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage is presented by our presenting sponsor of Lowco Pigskin Live and our all-star sponsor, Mickelson Law Firm. They've been with us since the beginning, jumped on board back in 2017 when we got this thing off the ground, and they have supported us from the start. So please call on them for your legal needs. They're right in downtown Bluffton, and they can help you with anything legal related, but they are our official real estate closing attorney. So if you're buying a new home, you definitely want to call on Mickelson Law Firm to close out your mortgage or do your closing, but they can help you with all your legal needs. Mickelson Law Firm, our all-star sponsor. We've also got our MVP sponsors, starting with our new apparel partner, Base Hit Life, basehitlife.com. I'm sporting another Base Hit lifestyle today. Check them out if you want to live your best Base Hit life. All kinds of cool baseball and softball shirts and hoodies and all kinds of stuff. Also got homegrown home inspections, providing great home inspections to make sure you're making a great investment in the Lowco real estate market. And if you're building a new home, they'll check on it every step of the way with their phased inspection. And Hospice Care of the Low Country, providing palliative care, free grief counseling, and hospice care to everyone in the Low Country, because at Hospice Care of the Low Country, it's not about dying, it's about living. Only a couple other games to talk about tonight, but we've got somebody who was a big part of one of them. Yeah, I did a little work while you guys were talking. We got Dietrich Schuford joining us on the show. What's going on, man?
Yes, sir. How y'all doing?
Big win for you boys tonight, 39-20 over Carleton Prep, although it was a lot closer than that final score would indicate. It was a one-score game, midway through the fourth quarter, and then you guys were able to put up a couple late and pull away. But pretty good fight over there tonight, huh?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. It was it was a pretty good game. We let them back in out of the half, and we finally found a way to hunker back down and take back the lead, get some good cushion.
Nick Underwood doing his thing again, salting it away, or at least giving yourselves some comfortable room there at the end. But just, man, that guy is one heck of a dude. He has come to play this year for Buford Academy. Got to feel good when you have somebody like him who can take the rock and lead you guys in the clutch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it takes the offense to a whole new level. And, he's really, it's just real great when you can rely on him in the run game. Really opens up things all over for the pass game to get, all our other playmakers the ball.
So take us through it tonight. It was 19-7 at half, you guys, and then same score after 3. Then you guys scored. I don't know. Y'all both scored. It was 26-14 with 9:28 left. Then they pulled within 6. And then I saw Nick had a long touchdown run, and then you guys scored again really quickly. So what happened there?
Really, our defense was really hunkered down. I mean, with that Underwood touchdown, I mean, you couldn't have drawn up that play any better. The line blocked it to perfection. It was just a straight line, nobody between him and the end zone. Then, kick the ball to them, defense shut them down, and then we hopped back on the ball and capitalized. That momentum really pushed us back to where we needed to be, and we punched it in and held them down.
Who scored that one?
Andrew Butterfield, our right guard. We brought
Oh,
the backfield for that one.
Oh, went with the beefy backfield. I like it. Who else scored for y'all? Who scored in the first half?
Underwood had a rushing touchdown. I had a rushing touchdown, and then Devin Fripp had a great catch.
Oh yeah,
half.
You threw a Hail Mary to baby Dev at the end of the half, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, he made a great catch on that one.
I saw a very rough video from a screenshot of or a screen recording of Huddle's sideline, but it was a pretty nice ball in the end zone. He went up and head topped him, got mossed. So that ended up being a huge play, huh? I mean, just a big momentum play going into the locker room.
Yeah, it was great for the locker room environment, especially knowing that we were going to come out and get the ball again. I mean, that's just a great way to end the half, especially after a dog fight going into it.
You want to win the last 2 or 3 minutes of the first half and the first couple minutes of the second half. That's huge momentum when you're able to dominate those different specific times of a ball game. But two really hard-fought games to open up region play. The win back on the 6th over Patrick Henry. And now you eke out the win over Carlton Prep, so you're sitting at 2-0. How does that feel after 2 hard contests in region play? How are you feeling about this team halfway through the year as you get ready for a big road trip ahead for these next couple of games on the road?
I mean, I have a good feeling. I'm really confident in the group of guys and what we got going on. Our biggest thing, especially through this week of practice following the loss of Dorchester, is just, we're only as good as we make ourselves out to be. So, I mean, whenever we stay after it and don't let up and keep fighting, I mean, we can be really good, but we can be just as bad if we let ourselves do it.
Yeah, but speaking of that game against Dorchester, that was a good defensive battle. You guys were able to – it looked like you were able to move the ball pretty well, but just couldn't get it in the end zone. And that's kind of been their MO. Their defense is pretty tough. I think we underestimated the other region in 1A just a little bit based on the head-to-head results. But it still, to me, feels like – that whole bracket is just going to be dogfights from top to bottom all the way through.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both regions have some pretty solid teams. Dorchester most definitely should never be slept on. They'll come at you any given night. Williamsburg's still a solid team. And then, down here we've got, we're a good team. Thomas Hayward's, they're doing their thing. And I mean, I'd put, anyone in our region, they could really get it done any Friday night. And I can speak for both sides with that.
Well, especially Carlton Prep, they get Walker Bryan back. That's a different team. I mean, he's an animal. So that's a big difference if they have him. But Patrick Henry had a fight with Faith Christian tonight too. 29-20 was the final. It was a pretty good battle up there. So, and Faith beat Andrew Jackson earlier, so they may not be a pushover either. But you said Thomas Hayward's doing their thing. They can't do it lately. Nobody will play them. Everybody keeps canceling on them.
Yeah, I heard they've been unable to get some games in.
I told Louise at JP2 today. She said she's looking for a replacement for the replacement because they lost, Palmetto or whoever, and then they picked up Augusta Eagles, and then they couldn't come this week. I said, well, Thomas Hayward can't get anybody to play him. I'm sure they'd answer the phone. So I'm trying to play matchmaker over here. But looking ahead for you guys, you get a non-region game next week, but it's against a team they have history with that. Especially you going back to Hayward, Bethesda, and they've been kind of rolling people lately. So good little test for you guys before you go into that last stretch of region play. What are you looking to kind of improve upon and assert yourselves on this week?
I mean, really the same as always, just making sure, we fine tune all the small mistakes we make that, keep us back. Really working on putting teams out when we have a lead. I mean, that's been our biggest problem past couple of games. We get a lead, we get a little complacent, we let them back in it. And I mean, with teams like Bethesda and, the other teams that we have for the rest of the schedule, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Right, finishing, being able to cash in those opportunities when you get in the scoring area, red zone, punching it in, and just playing that strong brand of defense, that Beef Academy defense, which seems to always show up in those big games, especially around here at home. You guys have always displayed a great defensive effort. And how fun has it been? You were at Thomas Hayward, now you're at Buford Academy. You've got to play with some tremendous talent, going back to Jackson Porter, Javonte Green, and now seeing what you've gotten from Nick Underwood and being able to continue to play for Coach Nick Shuford, and then Nick Shuford Jr., the young guy, your younger brother. How fun has it been able to play with him? He's gotten in the end zone at least once or a few times. So what have you seen from him so far this year? It's got to be cool for you to be on the same field as your bro in this senior year for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool experience. Not many people can say that they've done it, and it's really cool watching him develop. And we try to keep it on the field. When practice is over, we try to leave it on the field and ignore it when we get home. But it's really cool being able to kind of give him tips and tricks that I learned throughout my 4 years with some great players. And he's gonna have a couple great players come up with him too. So it's really fun to see where he's gonna go.
Right on, man. Yeah, I know you're looking forward to that finale against Thomas Hayward. That's going to be what a fitting way for you. Senior night at home against Thomas Hayward. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a good one.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Well, hey, man, we'll let you get on with your weekend, but congrats on a big win tonight, and thanks as always for hopping on and chatting with us.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, take care, man.
Yes, sir.
Dietrich Shuford, always
yeah,
game.
They've had some good ones over the years. Braden and Dean was one of my favorites.
I love that kid.
After games, but then Nick Shuford, Dietrich Shuford. I just remember so many more things that I was going to talk to him about, and we will as this year goes on. I just remember I was there when he got hurt his freshman year, when he was out. I think it was an ACL tear or lower body incident where he was done for the season, and it was on
he tore it all up.
Yeah, that was scary, and so young in his career to see that happen. And what a mature guy, and such a great competitor that he has become at the Skeezo level. And I'm rooting for him. He has been a part of some tremendous Thomas Hayward teams over the years, and then on his way to Buford Academy, we saw potential. It kind of fizzled out last year. Man, they looked like they looked tremendous those first two games, and just kind of crumbled down the stretch for him. So hopefully, maybe a different story you see this time. Although this is going to be it's hard to predict this Skeezo 1A. I mean, Thomas Hayward still feels like the front runner to me, but Buford Academy don't count out the defense and the way they just have that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. All bets are off when those two teams play each other, especially this year. With it being Dietrich's senior year and going against his former team, and like that, all bets are off in that one. That one's going to be a straight up dogfight from start to finish, and so I don't think anybody's out of that one. And Carleton Prep again, they get Walker Bryan back toward the end of the year, playoff time. That could be an interesting team as well. So, but then Williamsburg, obviously, they beat THA. Lee's always still a problem, and then we've seen what was the other one? Dorchester, obviously. They've beaten two of our teams. Yep. I was trying to think about Calhoun, but they're 2A, but they're good too. They're real good. So yeah, that only leaves us with the PHA Faith game, which was a weird game. A weird game to end a weird week. So Faith scored first. It was 8-0. Patrick Henry was down some kids because of the storm, according to Stricklander. Michael Tucker punched it in from 8 out, got the 2 point. It was 8-8. That's where it was at halftime. And then some of the Patriots sat in a fire ant bed. And Stricklander said he'd never seen him run that fast. Said it was a very muddy field. Faith had a long touchdown pass, went up 14-8. Stricklander had some comments about the officiating that we won't read out loud. And then we won't get him fined by the league. And then Pats drove. I missed something because they tied it at 14 at some point, and he didn't tell us. But then Michael Tucker threw a 12-yard touchdown to Rylan Brunson and got the run. So it was 22-14. And then Faith scored, but we stopped the 2-point game. That was on the first play of the fourth quarter. Jacob Corley with a huge pick to preserve the 2-point lead. And then Michael Tucker, 20-yard touchdown run and the PAT. And it was 29-20. And then forced a turnover on downs and closed it out. Ball game,
Crazy.
Sharpie,
You
Pats
never know
on
what
top.
can happen. You never know what can happen in such a wild environment with the storm and
Yeah.
there was like a tree that was someone was blocking the road.
There was a tree across the highway. Didn't know if they was going to be able to get there.
I'm still kind of shocked that Beaufort County kind of canceled their games because
Yeah.
if
I mean,
Skeezer
I know
can
they
play
were
their
having
game,
power.
Travel was
They were
the
having
concern.
power issues at Bluffton. But, I was thinking about this today, and I think it's one of those things that happens when you've got bureaucracy, which it's a dirty word for a reason. When there's an entity that's making decisions for multiple entities based on an overall picture rather than each individualized situation, you sometimes get decisions like that where it's like, well, we can't let them do it because we're not letting them do it type thing. And it's like having twins. Everything has to be equal, except we got way more than just two. We got a bunch of high schools and everybody's got to be treated the same. So I don't know what all goes into that. But I do know that, there was no power in Seabrook for a good bit of the day. There was no power in Bluffton High School still into the afternoon when they finally made that call. With the Bluffton Hilton Head game, with them both having the same bye week just
Right.
2 weeks from now, that made it easier because you weren't going to have to hose anybody with short weeks, and you weren't going to have to move anything around. Like, it's just an easy, clean
Yeah,
thing.
the schedule ended up
And
working
then
well in that sense because it was rare to see a situation where you'd play a region game before.
very odd.
Yeah.
Well,
before
they were originally scheduled to play on the 11th, and
Hmm.
then they both had bye on the 27th, and I guess Bluffton asked to move to the 27th, and they were like, "Yeah, we have no issue with that." I think it was because the 11th is fall break, so they
right.
both had. Yeah, they were both. They were worried about the gate fall break, so they went to September 27th. But then we got a hurricane, so now we're back to the week of the 11th, and
Right.
for some reason Bluffton wants it on Thursday, and Hilton Head is like, okay, that's fine. So it may be on Thursday, it may be on Friday, but there was like negotiations happening about when this game was going to be played because Bluffton wanted to play it tomorrow and Hilton Head didn't, and I don't know what all, but there was negotiations taking place.
Because I don't blame them for not wanting to play tomorrow.
Right,
Because
Yeah,
then
it sets you up with a short week next week.
for
It's
next
yeah.
That's a tough kind of scenario there.
hey,
for
man,
Hilton
a
Head.
Thursday night game, all the news outlets will be at that game when it comes
Amen to
around.
that.
Right. Hey, I love it. I love the 2 for
We
1
love it.
Thursday
Yeah.
night game, and then you get the big Friday slate. Hey, it's we still have 2 more games to look forward to on Monday, which is cool. You get the
I mean, I
game at
feel
4 and the game at
bad,
7.
Justin. You didn't get to do WSAV tonight.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I know, I'm bummed. Andrew's gonna try to push them to do that game when it gets played, but you never know if it'll work out because they're slated to do Benedictine and New Hampstead that night. So
and that's a good matchup.
it's a pretty good, it's a pretty
it's
decent
unfortunate
matchup.
sometimes
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's what it is.
It is what it is. Actually, parts of Bluffton were without power until like here at my house. I didn't have power until like I was about to leave at 6 o'clock.
I
know half the Parkers were closed down. Couldn't even
Oh yeah, I
go
know.
to
I
Parker's.
sat in the house with no air conditioning the entire day. It was fantastic. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
Yeah, we were
it's
very fortunate here.
strange.
We never
Yeah,
lost power.
What a weird week, man. This has
It
been
was
a
the
really
weirdest.
weird. It was so
yeah.
The
We had
weirdest
on Monday.
week.
We had
we
the
start out with no
internet.
internet. We end up with no
Monday, and
power.
then no. It was crazy because sometimes you have like see like these storms come in and they don't produce as much damage. Think like I kind of feel like a lot of people didn't see this
This
storm.
one was underhyped,
Right.
definitely.
Yeah.
Well, no one
Um,
was really worried because it was gonna hit nowhere near
I'll
us.
tell you
but-
what, there was a decent amount of
Well,
damage. Like obviously it was a tropical storm, but
dude.
the roads were clogged up. There were tree limbs, good amount of places around the island that fell down after the tropical storm or the effects of the hurricane that touched down in the Florida Panhandle, and certainly some some unfortunate effects, not just for Florida, but also in North Carolina around Asheville and
Yeah.
Boone. I heard
Atlanta,
that there's
too.
some major flooding. If you don't
Yeah,
know Lake
Asheville's
Florida,
like totally
yeah.
cut off from the world right now.
Just
Yeah,
off.
Atlanta didn't
this-
fare much better either.
That big tree at MC Riley got knocked down. I had to take some
Oh,
video
wow.
of that.
Holy
Good thing it
fuck.
went that way and not the other way. Would have been on
Yeah,
top of
so
the building and the
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
power
that's
lines.
and our condolences to all those who are living in the Big Bend of Florida because they have not had an easy
Right.
few years. Because I mean, this isn't the first hurricane they've had the last 2 years. They had Debbie come through, and then we got the amazing, wonderful rain from Debbie, and then and then they have this storm, and they had a huge storm last year too. So
Yeah.
those people have gone through a lot the last 2 years, and our condolences to them because from what I heard, storm surge hit 20 feet, which is considered
it was
unsurvivable.
devastating.
Yeah,
So, if any of you remember when Hurricane Michael came through the Panhandle of Florida, those were 20 feet, 20-foot storm surge, and you see the damage that it did there. Same kind of damage, and it's really unfortunate. And we think we thank ourselves every day that we don't have to go through that as often as the people down in Florida do. But you also see the damage that we had from some wind, and quite a bit of wind.
yeah,
I might add.
it puts in perspective just to see the damage that resulted from this storm, which was we didn't have hurricane force winds. It's just you think sometimes you got to give the blessings that obviously have devastated for everyone in Florida, but just man, it just goes to show, I guess, goes to show how dangerous these storms can be, and even
Yeah.
just the milder ones, what it could do to the Low Country. So,
And I think for those reasons, that's why Beaufort County, Jasper County, all counties decided that it was a good idea to not play games tonight, just because
agreed.
you have to be careful with, especially because I don't think anyone expected to have the wind. The wind that
Right.
we had last night. I mean, there were moments last night where that wind was howling.
It was
and I'm
scary,
really-
dude.
Well, I
really-
couldn't sleep last night. Most of the
I
I was
had a tree branch slap up against the side of my house. I was like, "Good lord, that freaked me out." It's very scary, and I can't even imagine what it was like during Matthew because those were stronger ones than that. Very.
yeah.
It's
Thankfully,
very, it's
they
not something.
they
It's not
caught on
something you
it
ever want
and
to go
there were
through.
evacuations that time back
Yeah.
then. But, it's
Yeah, well, I mean, this one was
Real
the on that east side of it. You get the tornadoes.
Right.
And
Tornadoes.
that's
Yeah.
that's what I
always
grew
scary.
up with is the tornadoes, which are
Yeah.
terrifying. But like we had basements, and we
Right.
don't have basements.
We don't
here.
Not
have
here.
basement
No, we're
here,
so
so what do
close
you
to
have
sea
to do?
level.
You base
It's-
so
yeah.
here.
No, there ain't-
I know where to
There ain't
go.
nowhere to go.
Well,
The
in
storm
my house,
surge
I
is
know
the
where
other.
to go to be the safest. Like I think
Right.
anyone who has to
Mm.
deal with a tornado around here, because we don't have basements, you have to find the safest space. And my
Right.
mom, having gone through tornadoes herself, she knows how this works. So I'm glad I
Yeah.
have that experience in my
Yeah.
house. But you get into a closet that has no wall, no windows, no nothing.
Or if you have
you
like a
hunker
utility room or something that has no windows.
She actually told me last night because my room's upstairs, so I have to as quickly as I can get to the stairwell and hunker down the stairwell.
Downstairs, yeah.
Or go downstairs, as quickly as
Those
possible.
tornadoes, you have to get into a closed area. They're just it's not as easy around here with the way that the homes are built, just the elevation that we're at. So
I mean, my parents have a little safe room that they poured a concrete patio around, and they drop down in their little bunker. They've got some food stored down there and a little TV, and they just go chill out down there because they've had too many close calls on the farm. So they go hang out down there when the sirens go off. But anyway, varsity sponsors of Lowco Sports presenting our weather coverage here. DDS Web Design, building, hosting, maintaining websites. DDSHHI.com. I got the hiccups all of a sudden. Parker Law Group, serving legal needs across Colleton, Hampton, and Jasper counties and helping us shine a light on deserving teams and student athletes in those counties. Dr. Ambrose Cole, our official chiropractor. He's at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton. He'll get you feeling right in mind, body, and spirit. And Reverence Wrestling Club, our official wrestling sponsor and presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind. Take your skills on the mat to the next level at Reverence Wrestling Club. These hiccups are killing me. What else you want to talk about tonight, boys?
Well, excited for these games coming up on Monday.
There is a great college football game going on, but yeah, I'm excited for Monday night football as well.
I'm looking forward to seeing, Monday Night Football in the Low Country. It's kind of cool. Don't get to see opportunities. Two game days in 1 week is always fun, and obviously, if the drive wasn't so long from Prep to Creek, I could have gone to do that doubleheader. Maybe it's still possible, but depending on how that Prep game goes. But I expect it to be a good one over there in the Afternoon Delight in Sea Pines. Hilton at Prep, it seems like they have had a long time off in between games, or at least they
really have.
Haven't played many games this year.
They've only played 3 games.
Yeah,
I know, which is really unfortunate for them because all
that time getting that first win. I think you kind of just want to keep going after you get that emotional.
You want to be in the zone, and they had 2 weeks off, and then I believe they played Bethesda, and then another week off. All these weeks off could affect the team as a whole. It could cause some issues, but it's unfortunate because Thomas Hayward's kind of dealing with the same thing right now as well. They had 2 teams that basically forfeited on them, or canceled the game. So they've gone 2 weeks without a football game. And it's
they're sick of it too. Sick of it.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't blame them. I would be too. I'd be like, get me on the field. I want to play a football game. I don't care if we win or not. I just want to play a football game
for months of the summer and then into the fall.
Right.
And
you only get
it's just
10 to 12 of them.
10 games, maybe more, depending on how it goes. But it just ruins the rhythm when you really get hyped. You get that big emotional win to break the long losing streak. Then you get 2 weeks off from a game. Then you go to Bethesda.
Well, you need the payoff too. The grind has to pay off in something. And so when you grind, and you never get to go play, it's just that's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot. They need to go
especially
play
for these kids. You just have that energy to just keep going at it. And that's what you work. That's what the workouts are for. You play. You do them to get to the point where we go out there on the Friday afternoon, the Friday night, and win a football game. And it's great to see that they did that once. Just after that, the emotional high and everything, you're ready to do it again the next week and the next week and the next week, and then it just kind of grinds to like a sequence where you're working out, you're practicing, and then all of a sudden games get moved and just takes a toll.
Prep does get to play 2 in 5 days now, though. So, careful what you wish for, right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, Dylan Christian and PD. Right after that, that's a tough stretch.
That's going to be 2 tough games.
Dylan is winnable. PD is good.
Especially,
they are good.
That's a tough one. But Dylan's the one you win the circle. You'd love to get that one at home. Pick up your second win.
PD shut out Williamsburg. 25 to
my.
nothing.
Yeah, that's
Jeez.
Yeah. Okay.
The
Yeah,
big one
that
is JP2, so you gotta. I mean, you'd love to show up against PG Academy, but I mean, grand scheme of things, the game is circled as the JP2 game on the
Well, but
left.
that one actually doesn't matter ultimately.
So-
No, it doesn't. But
right,
they do.
It's
right.
not a region game.
It's not a region game.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
their last, their last two
you know, you're
games are
kind
out
of
of region games.
right, because they used to be region rivals for so long,
Right.
but
They're not anymore.
not anymore. Hilden Prep,
But
Hilden
that St. John's and Christian Academy games
it's other teams this
are
time.
both winnable.
Yeah. So St. John's Christian and then Dillon Christian, which is the region game that I'm sure they are circling because that's an
Mhm.
important one. That's like you said, one that they should be able to handle if they play up to the standards that we've seen, especially the way they showed themselves in that in the let's say Andrews game. I mean that was a
Yeah.
really good performance at home. The defense stood up tall. You know, the defense kind of carried them in several moments in that win, and so if they could put together an effort like that at home, and it's always difficult to come on even it's still kind of 80-degree weather in the afternoon heat. Never easy for an opponent, especially one that hasn't been there for number of years. A new region rival and Dillon Christian, someone who has in the past has come to Hilton Head Christian, Hilton Head Prep, and played these teams, but not recently. So I'm excited for that one. I think it could go either way, but that's obviously the St. Andrews win was huge, but this is where it really determines playoff seed. If
Yep.
you can get two of those wins, if you beat Dillon Christian, beat St. John's, you're in the playoffs, and there are PD is not going to be an easy one. Bethesda
And Christian Academy Myrtle Beach is winnable
yeah.
too.
They
got some
St.
winnable
John's,
ones.
They're winnable games on there. I think
St. John's is down.
if you can find a way to get
Yeah.
into the playoffs, I mean that is a massive success for Hilton Head Prep.
I think they get in the playoffs.
I think
but
Dillon
we'll see.
Christian and
They-
St.
they
John's
kind of-
could be winnable games.
Oh,
Both
geez.
of them could be winnable games.
I think, I do
Yeah.
too. And Christian Academy Myrtle Beach.
Christian Academy would be. Is Christian Academy a region game or is that an out of
Yeah.
region game?
Christian
It's a
Academy Myrtle
region
Beach is region.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah,
that is
I was
crazy.
listening to
4-hour
line
trip
that you're
for a
seeing.
region game.
Yeah,
My
you're seeing
goodness.
some interesting matchups in this new two-way realignment, which I'm glad they moved down to two-way in football. I don't think they're ready for 3A at the depth,
No.
just the level of depth that they have right now, and I think it provides a better fight for Hilton Head Prep. I think this is a good spot for them, and I think playoffs is certainly reachable for this team, and I think they're rejuvenated by Coach McFadden. I think Doug McFadden is doing a great job with that team, and you're seeing this next group of players really find that the way that they want to see this team going forward. I think they're really starting to get there, and they're finding that mojo in a sense, because that first win, that's the one you need under your belt. You got that one. Now can you build on it? And I like White Armor a lot. I think he's become a reliable quarterback. We've seen it in the past year that he has been able to make the throws and some tough throws at that downfield. He's been able to take what the defense has given him most recently and make good decisions. He's really getting, and the line's starting to do a better job blocking for him. And you have guys that are starting to really rise to the occasion alongside him. I think the defense has been the biggest thing that has stood out for me with Hilton Head Prep, and I expect another good showing here against Dillon, which I think will be a very tight game. And like I said, I love that's on Monday night or Monday afternoon, an opportunity for us to cover these games, and two game days or 2 dates of football in 1 week is always fun.
Good.
And then wrapping up with
89 degrees. 89 degrees on Monday.
wow,
It'd be pretty toasty.
wow, 89.
Toasty.
Goodness,
Toasty.
Come on, man.
It's
gonna be toasty, I
Get
think.
this temperature down.
that is crazy.
Goodness.
Yep.
Wow.
That's what they're calling for in Bluffton. I mean, it'll probably be 86.
85 for Bluffton.
I was going to say it'll probably be 85, 86 in Hilton Head. So
Yeah.
Crazy.
plenty warm. And then the evening nightcap, it'll be Battery Creek, Whale Branch, which does put both of them in kind of tight spots to prepare for next week. you got to start kind of, prepping for next week ahead of time. And Battery Creek has North Charleston, Whale Branch. Who they got? Whale Branch. Computer's not being my friend. They got Whale Branch doesn't care because they don't play next week, so they're cool with playing on Monday. They're totally cool with playing on Monday. So, but it'll be a short week for Battery Creek. So, anyway, we'll come back and talk about all that on Monday. But our Lowco Booster Club, Court Lifestyle Pros, they want to bring you home to Hilton Head Island. They were Charter One Realty. Eagle Creations, they want to sell you promotional items and custom apparel. You can go see them over on Argent Boulevard. Jay's Barbershop, they want to get you looking stylish and fill your ears with great conversation in downtown Ridgeland. Barefoot Floor Care of the Lowcountry wants to get your floors so clean your feet will thank you. Hudson Seafood House on the Docks wants to fill your belly full of seafood and beverages and show you a beautiful sunset. And Hurricane Sports Cafe, they also want to fill your belly full of delicious food and beverages. So, but they're in Hampton. So same, but in Hampton. That's our Lowco Booster Club. Support them if you're able. And boys, any takeaways from tonight that we haven't covered? My God, we've talked for an hour about 3 football games. I think we've probably said it all. But Hilton Head Christian Academy has flaws. Buford Academy is still dangerous. Patrick Henry got a dub on the road. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about it.
That's a underrated win for Patrick Henry. I think big picture, I'm impressed with tough conditions with not a full group of players out there to begin with.
Right.
That's never easy, especially going on the road to do that. Faith Christian showing up in this ball game and Patrick Henry kind of weathering the storm, literally and figuratively, I guess, in a way, and picking up the victory. That's a harder region win, and it's an important one as you look towards the rest of this slate of region ball games, because it's going to be tight, and seeding is everything. I mean, getting that top 2 spot or even getting that 3 seed versus the 4 is
matters.
A big difference. It matters a lot, and down the road these games are going to be way more intense. I mean, that Thomas Hayward clash against Buford Academy, which I believe is the last week of the season. It's going to be one heck of a game. Whoever decides to get to that one, it's going to be a treat to cover that one off to see where I decide to go. But that should be, and we could see it again in the postseason as well. So definitely keep an eye out for that one. But I mean, you got Thomas Hayward still unbeaten in that region. Buford Academy getting 2 really hard-earned wins. So that first one over PHA, and then this one just tonight for Carleton Prep. BA certainly battle-tested, getting some important victories, and 2 situations where they had a sizable lead and they kind of let it get a little closer, but Nick Underwood and company able to help them hold on. So those 2 teams are 2-0. You got Faith Christian now 1-2, Carleton Prep also 1-2 after that loss. PHA, I believe, 1-1.
That's right.
And so they still have the ball in their court in terms of, an opportunity potentially to compete for a top.
I mean, if they knock off Thomas Hayward, then they create that 3-team 1-loss situation, right? So they also got to play Carleton Prep, which is going to be a good battle.
As well.
And in fact, they played Thomas Hayward next week. So, Hayward hasn't played in a couple weeks. Maybe they're a little rusty. Who knows? Got some good games on tap next week. Got Bluffton and Beaufort, which will be on Beaufort's own. Got Hilton Head at Bishop England is a good one.
That's a low-key really good game.
May River at Carleton County, North Charleston at Battery Creek, Hampton at Edisto. That's the old Estill guys, so that's a cool little game. Hardyville at Bamberg, Denmark at Ridgeland. Palmetto Christian dropped out, right? So I don't think Hilton Head Christian's playing them. JP2 at First Baptist. which is potentially a winnable game for them. Hilton Head Prep at PD, Patrick Henry, Thomas Hayward's a great one, and then Cross at the Kings. So
Yeah.
got some good ones on there. A couple really good
Oh,
Lowco on Lowco battles.
Yeah,
Can I have a non-football related thing that I just saw came in as breaking news?
Oh yeah,
all right. Tell us.
Involving the NBA. The Knicks are sending Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Karl Anthony Towns.
oh,
Very interesting.
interesting.
I'm very shocked by that. I did not expect that today.
By the
I
way,
did
it's
not think Minnesota was going to sell
it's
him
not the
away.
same without the Washbomb anymore because Adrian Wojciechowski is now employed
he's
by St.
retiring.
Bonaventure, the men's
Really?
basketball team. Yeah,
Yes.
he is no longer the ESPN reporter. I believe
So who are they going to feed their scoops to now?
Yeah,
I
no
have
more
no idea.
Washbombs.
What's his name? I don't
Who will get
remember
the
who his name is.
scoops?
Man.
Yep.
Looks
Yeah,
like
you know,
Miami
certainly
is about to
certainly one of the
score.
more likable guys, but yeah, he
Oh,
is working for the Bonnies now, the
Yeah.
St. Bonaventure men's basketball team.
yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
But yeah, we do have football related. We do have a good Donnybrook going. ACC
Miami just
Donnybrook,
scored.
Ooh,
Virginia Tech, Miami. Miami has just taken the lead 38-34 with 157 left. And Virginia Tech
Oh.
going to send in a drones strike. That's their quarterback.
Goodness.
Drones.
Against
about-
yeah,
Cam Ward in Miami.
it's been a hell of a game. Virginia Tech's led throughout, but Miami has just taken the lead.
Wow.
Well, how about a little
Look for number
baseball?
65 on
Yeah.
offense for Virginia Tech here. Xavier Chaplin starting at left tackle.
Yeah.
Hey, love to see that.
Yeah,
Local
that's true.
connection there. Let's,
How about this? The Detroit Tigers are officially in the postseason for the first
They are.
time in
Oh,
10
they're-
years. It's been
yes,
a decade
they
since
beat-
we last seen
and
Detroit.
They
at
dealt the
expense
White Sox
of the
their
White Sox,
record.
121st record loss, the most losses in the modern era. So not only one a big event, but two really with Detroit making the playoffs. They had like a 0.2% chance of making it early in the year. I saw
Yeah.
that today.
Yeah.
That's insane.
They got off to a terrible start.
Yeah.
Hey,
Terrible.
Chicago, well done. That is quite an achievement, Chicago.
Oh my God.
Very well done. Nice
Nowhere
job.
to go but up
Great.
after that. We're
Great job firing Rick Renteria. Great job. Really,
I
really
still
good
don't
move.
understand why they did that.
Ace
Dumbest move they've ever
move.
made.
Ace move.
Dumbest move.
Especially
ever.
after I don't know. I guess it
Yeah.
technically worked for the Cubs because they did win a World Series with Joe Madden, but I don't know, man. People got to
and my
stop firing Rick
condolences as
Renteria.
well. My condolences as well to the Oakland A's fans as
Yeah.
the final
Very sad.
game in the
Yeah.
Coliseum. They go out winners 3-2, but man, I know some fans of that Oakland team and devastated. Just crazy scenes at the end of that ball game in Oakland, and just unfortunate to see that team leave. That's the last shoe to drop in Oakland. All the teams have left after the A's depart. So it's
Yeah.
just a storied area of professional sports, especially the Raiders.
That's
with all
cool,
the
though.
fading.
This was sad but cool. The grounds crew was scooping up dirt and putting it in water bottles for kids from the last game at the
That's cool.
Coliseum.
That's cool.
Cool but sad.
Until
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. When the A's were good, the Coliseum was rocking, especially for the playoffs, man.
Yep.
A's fans brought it when the A's were good. I just remember in the 80s when the A's had, Ricky Henderson and Dave Henderson and Canseco and Carney Lansford and like just Alfredo Griffin and Dave Stewart, and they were good every year, and they always brought it for the playoffs. I love their fans, and I love the atmosphere there. Now, I hated that ballpark because the ridiculous amount of foul territory was just absurd. And then when there were football lines on the baseball field, that just pissed me off to no end. I never did like that. I don't want to see no football lines on my baseball field.
Yeah.
But A's fans deserve better for sure. But I do love watching this groundskeeper scoop up the dirt. Makes me happy.
Yeah.
Especially
Sad
with
and
them
happy.
been there for so long, and I've seen so much of just historic moments with several of the teams that resided in the Oakland Coliseum. So definitely a bittersweet moment for everyone involved.
All right, here we go. 36 seconds left. Virginia
Yeah.
Tech
Lots of it.
Goodness.
near midfield,
Oh wow.
across midfield. All right, but they need a touchdown,
We're here, and
and they only have one timeout left.
well, the Hurricanes survive.
I think they're going to. I think they're going to survive. I think Virginia Tech's going to run out of time. They're going to get one more play and then a timeout. Oh boy! Oh, he avoids the sack. Okay. Gets out of bounds. 18 seconds left. Still got time for a little shake and bake. Got one timeout, so you can throw it over the middle of the field. Try to get yourself
By
to
the
the
way,
25 or 30 and have one shot at the end zone.
Yeah. Jalen Sneed, Notre Dame with a big game up against Louisville.
Oh, yeah?
At the 3:30 kickoff. Notre Dame, of course, the shocker, lost to Northern Illinois early in the year. Come back strong, but
Beat the hell out of Purdue the next week.
yeah,
Yeah, I know.
they were hungry for that one, but yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more from them. Louisville, obviously, one of the favorites in the ACC, along with Miami. Clemson has certainly shown a lot the last two games after the loss to Georgia, and then, of course, the big one over in Tuscaloosa at the end of the night. But
that one's going to be great.
But I'm excited as a fan of this Clemson team for what they're doing. I'm sure they took a lot of heat after that loss to Georgia to open up the season, but they've responded. Offense has turned it
around.
And now they get Stanford
offense has
coming up
finally
next
showed
week.
up. Good Lord.
This on Saturday, which is it's just still wild to think about that Stanford is an ACC.
So weird.
Just doesn't compute with me. It does not compute. I'm sorry, but it's just
so weird.
It's just stupid. I don't understand. It's the Atlantic Coast Conference, not Pacific Coast. Come on. Man.
It's so weird. I hope they figure something out. Like, I don't know, man. It doesn't make a damn lick of sense for Stanford to be in the ACC. Here we go, drones. Drones to the end zone. Oh. I think he was out of bounds, but he caught it.
Oh my!
Wow!
Oh,
that dude's got an arm, bro. That was PI as a mofo too. He was defensive holding the heck out of him. He was a step out of bounds, but he did catch it. Wow! How's that not PI though, or defensive holding or something? He got a hold of his arm. I know this is gripping. This is gripping live programming right now. Us watching something else. There's Xavier. There's Xavier Chaplin. We would show you the screen, but that would be a copyright infringement.
Yeah.
The coach for Virginia Tech looks like my buddy Yon. That's my analysis.
This is a bit of regarding Miami. This is a bit of a scary game for them because they should have beaten Vodtech with ease, but they didn't, and they were down.
Well,
you see every year these power conferences, you have teams that can on each other. There's no easy win. I mean, you've been a Clemson fan for a while. So even in those national championship seasons, they've had some wins that were hard to come by. I just remember that game against Syracuse.
Pitt always gave them a scare every year.
Pitt would.
Syracuse,
I just remember the Chase Price game against Syracuse on
the one team I'm just like,
in 2018.
Yeah, I came home tonight and my wife was watching this game and said, Miami's feeling just like us against Vandy last week. And I was like, that's exactly right. Just like, please let us survive this game. Oh, drones with the scramble, goes out of bounds with 3 seconds left. So he's going to get one more shot at the end zone. Pretty good little 1 minute drill here by
not bad,
Virginia Tech to get into position.
Yeah.
It's never easy.
They're gonna get one
Obviously,
shot.
it's always nice in college when you get the clock stopped after you obviously ran out of bounds, but when you're
Right.
able to the clock
Get a
stopping
first down.
is always helpful when you're trying to move into a field goal range or look to go ahead and get the game winning touchdown if you're down by 4 at this point. But yeah, it's credit to Virginia Tech going on the road in tough environment over here in Miami and going toe to toe, making this a contest until the very last play of the ball game. But looks like Miami is one prayer away from staying unbeaten and staying atop.
Let's see what they got dialed up here. Do you just throw it into the end zone, or do you try some kind of hook and lateral thing?
Hook and ladder.
Where are they sitting right now?
Well, depends on his arm.
He
showed that
he's got the arm. He showed he's got plenty of arm.
Well,
hey, we've seen crazy things happen when you throw it deep. All you need maybe is a defender tips a pass and he teach you to knock it down, but sometimes they'll just
it's only 30 yards. It's definitely doable.
It's
definitely not even a Hail Mary.
Yeah, so obviously
tackle win early. Oh, that'll cost him 5. Doesn't really change it that much. 35 yards and 30 yards are about the same when it comes to throwing. He's got plenty of arm. He's got plenty of arm. Oh, wait, hold up. This man says timeout. There was no penalty. No penalty. Miami took a timeout.
By Miami.
Right. Well, I guess we'll wrap this thing and let the people do what they want.
Go home? Yeah.
We'll probably still just sit here and watch it, though. So we might as well just sit here and watch it. But anyway, weird show, weird week, weird show, weird Friday night. But we brought you the 3 finals. Hilton Head Christian falls 60-20 to Pinewood Prep. Patrick Henry hangs on 29-20 at Faith Christian, and Buford Academy 39-20 over Colleton Prep. And that's it tonight. We got 2 more on tap Monday night, and then another one that'll be rescheduled later on. But that's it for tonight's version of Week 6. It continues. The week that wouldn't end continues Monday with a doubleheader. Hopefully the internet is on. Oh, there's the throw into the end zone. Oh my God, who caught it? Who caught it? Now they're fighting over the ball. Nobody knows who's got it. Miami came out with it, but man, who had it first? They're gonna have to review this.
Pandemonium.
It was simultaneous
Miami's
possession.
Coming out with a football, and this ball game is over.
No, it ain't. They're gonna review that thing.
Oh,
they're gonna review that thing, guaranteed.
Oh no!
I think he caught it, dude.
I think you might have caught it.
Here's the thing: he's only got to possess it.
Saying that they think they caught it.
Yeah, I think he caught it. I think Virginia Tech caught it. And if he possesses it in the end zone for any amount of time, it's a touchdown. They took it away after he was on the ground. That's a touchdown, bro.
Oh my goodness!
I got touchdown.
You got to have. What was the call? What was the call?
He's got it. He's got it. He brings it. I don't know. He brings it down. Whoa. Did he complete the catch? Is the only question. I think he may have. I think he may have.
You know what? I think there's a case to be had here.
I think it's a touchdown.
Oh yes, there is a case. Oh my goodness.
That's a touchdown, bro.
If they don't call that a touchdown,
they're gonna have to score that.
The catch in bounds was a part of the in bounds.
Oh yeah, his whole backside came down in bounds, didn't it? Unless he's on top of somebody.
Did he complete the process of the catch? And that's going to be the question here.
Oh man,
it's so
the touchdown.
Did they call it?
Touchdown! Oh, that's the rule. Yeah, touchdown. Virginia Tech walks it off. Oh my God! The drone strike.
Oh my goodness!
Unbelievable! It was a drone strike.
Wow!
Oh my God!
Oh,
what a way to open up ACC play for them.
What a
my
play
God,
to end
what
it.
no
Walk
way.
it off.
Game.
Unbelievable
Wow.
catch.
Hey, you said I said it before. Crazy things can
never
happen
know.
when you throw it into the end zone. There's nothing to
never
lose in a
know.
situation where you're playing on the road like this. Why not? Let your athletic receiver make the play. Man, that's insane.
Miami, man, 2 years in a row with the last
Wow.
minute winning
They're
touchdown.
replaying this
Oh, my
7,000
goodness.
times, but
Oh
what a
my.
massive humanity falling to the ground there. I think, wow. That is
No,
crazy.
That's
What
crazy.
a game.
Wow.
Holy crap.
Man.
And then he rips it out. I don't know, man. That's about as close as it gets. But I guess the ruling on the field was touchdown. So
Are they still
are
reviewing
they still
it, or
are they
Oh,
still reviewing it? Was that
sure
just the
it
ruling
is.
on the field? Or was that the
Nope.
review? They're still
Well,
showing us a
obviously-
million
obviously
ultra
the
slow
one
mo
that
replays.
That's going to take a
touchdown
lot
for
if
me.
they end up changing the call. I would assume at this point it probably stands as the initial call.
I would agree. I don't see
Yeah.
enough to overturn. We know the ball comes out at some point, but he's already down on the ground and caught it, right? Right there's where it comes out. Good amount of time has elapsed. I don't know. It's a close one, but I think you got to go with the call in the field.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't
Looking
see
at it
there's
now.
any conclusive evidence to show that.
I don't either. The ball's in there. Still in there.
It's massive humanity, as you said. It's
There's a lot going on in there. Well, and Virginia Tech's football colored pants don't make it any easier. It's the same color as the football.
Yeah.
So you can't see where it is. Oh yeah, he's still in there.
If this stands,
That man's still in there looking at it.
I feel bad for Miami fans if this stands, because this is the second year in a row where they have had games won and they lose with a last-minute touchdown. Like, remember the Georgia Tech game last year in Miami?
They're taking a long time to make sure they get the right call here, as they should.
I would. This is a game-winning play, so yeah.
Right. This one decides. There's no time left in the clock, so
every aspect
it basically decides the ball game. It does decide the ball game.
I need to see the replay one more time just so I get a better.
I got touchdown. I think
it has to. You think you have to.
I just don't see enough to overturn. I think if it was ruled incomplete, it would probably stay incomplete too. But I think he caught it. And once you've caught it and possessed it in the end zone, that's it. It's a touchdown.
Right.
Like, there's you can't knock it out after the fact. Once it's possessed in the end zone, it's a touchdown. Like, you can't fumble after you score a touchdown.
Yeah.
Crazy game.
Oh, yeah, no.
It really does kill. It really does kill the moment, though, doesn't it?
Here's
When
a
you
call.
have to wait.
Here's a call.
You're getting the call already? I'm not getting the call yet.
They called it incomplete.
Are you serious?
Yeah. They just called it incomplete.
Oh my
How the hell was that
You
incomplete?
saw it before I did.
Oh
my gosh.
I still haven't. I'm still looking for the call. I still haven't seen.
Yeah,
it.
I still haven't seen the call either. I'm still getting more replays and replays and replays. Here it is. It says incomplete pass.
Miami.
Oh my god.
Praise to the
disagree
heavens.
with that completely.
Praise to the heavens. Miami Hurricanes, as they stay unbeaten. That's I would be absolutely livid if I'm a Virginia Tech fan right now. My goodness. That
looked like a touchdown.
And especially since it was called on the field as a touchdown, like I'm interested to see what the rationale, if it's ever shown, about.
I'm guessing they're just going to say that he didn't have control of it, or that it was simultaneously possessed. I don't know.
I think he had control.
I believe.
I think he had control till he went to the ground too. I think they ripped it out after, which I think that's post touchdown. Post touchdown
I
fumble.
agree. Yeah, that's
Well. Kind of glad we stayed live for that.
yeah.
The,
That's very
the
Uh,
two to
stupid, though.
four, the 2 to 4 people who were watching.
Yeah.
I don't know what they thought of it, but
uh,
all right.
Hey, let us
Well,
know in the
you never know what
comments
to
you thought.
expect.
let's call it a night. I've got to coach softball in 10 hours. So we'll call it a night. But weird show, weird week, weird Friday night. We'll be back Monday night to do it again. We'll tell you about the 2 football games going on Monday night and get you all filled in on that. But thanks to everybody who hung out with us tonight, especially to our sponsors, especially the All-Stars, Mickelson Law Firm, presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. Great to see the man, Ryan Mickelson, out there tonight. I always see him when I'm over at HHCA. He's always around. And I saw Audrey is on the cheerleading squad now, which makes me feel really old. Coach Scher, way back. So, but not Audrey, middle one, Mason and
Oh,
I don't know. There's so many Mickelsons.
too
But
many.
maybe Audrey is on the cheerleading squad at this
I
point.
don't know.
I don't know. They're growing up fast, those Mickelsons. But that'll do it for tonight. Thanks, fellas. For Wes Kerr and Max Arraj, I'm Justin Jarrett. We'll be back Monday night. Lowco Sports Lowdown. We'll see you then. Go Lowco.